Hello, welcome to Ian HRP on YouTube and welcome to a first in a maybe new series of videos I am calling The Average Photoshopper. And in today's tutorial lesson we're going to be looking how you can turn a flat image like this into a moving image like this. Hello then, thanks for watching and thanks for choosing this video. I hope you're going to find it of interest. So today we are going to be doing a quick tutorial on how you can make a photo move to give it a little bit more of a presence, a bit more of a pop on your social media feeds, on your websites, etc. This is a new series of videos I'm trying. I am not by any means whatsoever a Photoshop expert, guru, not even close. So these videos will give you some of the techniques and tips that I've picked up throughout the years of working with Photoshop. I am not in any way whatsoever a guru expert in Photoshop. I am what I would probably class as a basic average user. So this is how I do these things. This may not be the correct way, but this is how I have learned to do certain techniques on Photoshop. So let's get into it then. And what are we going to do today? We are going to make an image move just slightly, just a little bit of movement in an image, which will just help the image perhaps get a bit more traction on Instagram, on Facebook, on your social media, etc. And you can do it just for fun as well. So we're going to look at this particular image here, which is the image of a surfer coming out of the surf on a beach a few years ago. It's a few years old, this image. So first thing we're going to do is open this in Camera Raw, and you can tell this is old because I'm shooting on a Canon EOS 70D. I now shoot Olympus. So we're just going to edit this image ever so slightly. I just want to bring down the exposure, bump up the contrast slightly. It's already got some clarity on there as well. So I'm quite happy with using that. So we click on Open Image. This then brings the image into Photoshop, and the first thing I want to do is probably crop the image because I just want to get rid of this on the side, which I believe is a tripod. So I'm just going to bring the image down. Let's go with original ratio. Okay, that's slightly better, so let's crop that. We have our image open in Photoshop and I've cropped it down to take out most of the tripod that was on the side, but there's just a little bit left here. So I'm just going to use the content aware fill. So you want to go up to the lasso tool and just very roughly go around the object that you want to take out, and it selects that. Then go to Edit, Content Aware Fill. And as you can see, it's done a fairly decent job of just removing that on there. So we'll click OK. And then press Ctrl and D to take the selection off. And as you can see, it's gone. You can sort of tell, but unless you're looking at it, unless you know it's there, you probably wouldn't hit that at all. The next step we want to do is we want to select the surfer and his surfboard and probably the splashes at the bottom as well. So we will do that by using the select object. We will start with that first. So you go to the object selection tool and then we'll just click on select object and we'll see what Photoshop does. Okay, so that's done a fairly decent job actually. It's taken most of the surfboard, it's missed the line here and around there. It's taken some of the splashes as well, and it's got most of him in. So I'm quite happy with that to start. So we'll now go to the select and mask. And as you can see, I've got this set to show in red what isn't selected. So we're now going to refine this selection to get it a little bit more tight in certain areas. So we'll go up to the edge of the surfboard. So I'm going to use the Refine Edge Brush tool to just refine these edges. let's just start on here. A quick tip on this, if you select an object, if you put your pointer in the object that you actually want to select and then draw out, what that does is it just helps Photoshop know what you're looking to select. It's just a little tip, it just helps when you're refining the edges. So let's just do this along here. So this may struggle in places just for the fact that this is a white surfboard on a white background. It's not the easiest thing for Photoshop to use, but it does a fairly decent job on the normal selection. Right, that's fine. So as you can see, that's working quite well on the edges there. Right, let's go up and have a look at his hair and stuff. So as you can see, it's taken out some of his hand. So we're just going to bring that back in. I actually think that's done worse. So we'll go to the solid brush and we're just going to paint in. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so we'll just make this brush slightly bigger. Another quick tip for that, if you want to make the brush bigger, if you press and hold the Alt key on the PC, the right mouse button, and then if you drag up and down, you get the hardness changing, and if you drag left to right, you get the size of the brush changing, which just saves you having to go all the way up here all of the time. So we're just going to paint in around the edges. Okay, now I don't think you need to be absolutely perfect with this when you're doing this type of edit, but you can be as perfect as you want, and you can spend as much or as little time as you want on refining the edges, but particularly around hair it does help to spend a little bit of time, otherwise you do get a very noticeable end result where you can really see that you've cropped and cut this out of another image or out of the same image. So I do like to spend a little bit of time refining the edges. Just going to do inside here so that it takes that out. There we are. Okay, so let's work our way round and just be careful of things like this. So the little loop on the back of his boots, just be careful that you pick out those, because they will be noticeable. I'm just going to do his shoes, and it's missed out this line completely. So I'm going to go to the other selected brush, which gives you the fuller refinement, and we're just going to lower that down. At the top, just press the Shift key, and then just work your way down. And what this does is it draws a straight line, so you don't have to go through and try and manually do this, because you will go wrong. And then you'll realise you've done a really long stroke, and you have to undo the whole thing and start again, which can be very annoying. Right, we're going to take out this reflection from here. I'm just going to increase the brush size. And again, using the same technique, so we'll go for a small brush, press the click, press Shift, and then just work your way down the line, selecting this cable, and we'll just do the same on this side as well. So you click once, press the Shift key, and then keep the Shift key held down and just go down what you're wanting to do, and that gives you a straight line. But if you do it in small enough increments, you can go around curves as well. So I'll just do that one here. There you go, and that's what you forget to do sometimes, so we'll just undo that and we'll start that again. So click, press and hold the Shift key, and then just work your way around. So if you do spend a little bit of time on this, it does improve your results. And unlike the demos that Photoshop like to do in their presentations, I have never managed to get a perfect selection first time round, but it gives you a good starting point. Okay, so the next bit I want to concentrate on is the water, and I want to include some of these splashes that haven't been selected automatically. So I'm just going to use a refine brush edge, and I'm just going to paint in on some of these splashes. I'll just take that down there as well, and then I just want some of these droplets of water to be included And using the refine edge tool, it won't suddenly make the whole thing selected, which you do have sometimes using some of the other options. Okay, that's fine. So we want to output this to a new layer. The options you have in here is you can have it as a selection, a layer mask, a new layer with layer mask, new document, or new document with layer mask. So we're going to select a new layer, click OK. And there we have our selection. As you can see, then we've got our selection, and it's done a fairly decent job there. So we'll just select the background. We will unselect the selection, and then, making sure that the background layer is highlighted, press and hold the Control key and click on the layer mask. And as you can see, what that's done is that's selected the selection on our layer. So we're now going to content aware fill the background. So we go to content aware fill. It's done an OK job. We have got a halo around, but we can get rid of that. So we'll click OK. Okay, so he's gone. It's not perfect. It doesn't have to be, but I'm happy with that. Next then, as you can see, we've got our surfer. Let me just go back to the move tool. We've got our surfer and the original background, and then if we take the surfer out, we have clone stamped and content aware filled him out of the background. So the next stage we need to do is we need to convert these into smart objects. So right click on each layer and convert to smart object. This just allows you to roll back some of the changes that you might make if you don't like them. So next we need to go to window and click on timeline. And this brings up a basic video editor within Photoshop. I'm just going to make that fit the screen. And then we need to click on Create Video Timeline. Now this creates a timeline with both layers into the timeline. So any layers that you have in the layer panel will be included in this. Now I don't want this to be 5 seconds. That's too long. So we're going to go down to about 3.5 seconds. I'll just move that across to there. So yeah, just over 3 seconds. We'll just do, actually no, we'll do about 3 seconds. That's fine. If you want to select both layers, because we're going to cut this, select one of the layers, click the Control key and select the other. Click on Cut. That then slices at the point where the marker is, and then we will just click on those and click the delete key. So we now have a 3-second animation. So drag your marker all the way to the beginning, expand both of these, and we want to use the transform option for both layers. So click in the little stopwatch, that creates a keyframe, and you want to do that on both layers at the beginning. Drag the pointer to the end, and then again click on this little icon here, which adds a keyframe to where the playhead is, and add that to the end as well. So basically that will tell Photoshop whatever moves and changes you make on here, you want it to animate that through to the end of the animation. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to select the surfer, click on the move tool, and we're just going to zoom out. And what I would like to do is I would like to have the surfer come back into the frame as the background zooms out. So we're going to start him about there. What you don't want to do is you don't want to make any massive movements because it will look very, very strange. So we want to start him about there, and we'll just make him a little bigger. Drag the point head. You have to press return after each one, otherwise it dings at you. Drag the point heads to the end, and as you can see that's already done that animation. And then we will do the same with the background. We want that to zoom in slightly. That's not going to work there. Remember to bring the playhead back to the beginning when you start each layer. And what I want to do is I just want to start there and then at the end. Just want to have zoomed in ever so slightly. So let's just see what that looks like. First time you click on play, what it will do is it will render a preview, so it will be slightly jerky. I wasn't particularly happy with that first go. I can tell you, it's an average Photoshopper. I made a mistake somewhere, so I've just slightly reworked it, and we're just going to play the new version. So I think that's a much better representation of what I was trying to get. So I just cropped the background in even more, just slightly took off the edge there, and just slightly moved the movement. So when you're doing this on your own photos, it is literally a case of moving around, seeing what looks best, and then when you've got something that you're happy with, that's the final product. So what we will now do is we will now export this as a video. So you go to File, Export, and then you go to Render Video. And what this option does is it allows you to have certain presets. So you can see on here, you can have high quality, medium, low, all different devices, different TVs, and you can also do it presets for YouTube as well. So we'll keep with the YouTube HD video, and we'll keep all the others the same, and we will just change the title to Surfer 4, and then we will click on Render. After the video has finished rendering, you will get a short file, which is a MP4 file, and this is what we've just done. As you can see, very subtle movements on the surfer, and the background just moves slightly, and he just moves as well. And the good thing about this as well is you can change it. If you're not happy with your final results, you can go back in and continue editing and just resave until you get an image that you are happy with. There you go then, that's the first video in the Average Photographer series. If you've got any particular things in Photoshop that as an average person you would want to know how to do, then just leave a comment down below and I will see if I can do a video on them. And I have got some more videos coming up as well, showing you how I edit my photos, including ones where we replace the sky and we add a sunset colour to a beach scene. So we will be bringing that up shortly as well. Thank you very much for watching. If you have enjoyed this, then please do hit the like button, leave a comment with any suggestions that you want tutorials on, and why not click subscribe, and we will see you again soon. Until next time, thanks for watching and bye for now.